Today on the LA Food Podcast, I'm your host Lucas Hervodio, oscillating between not giving a damn that the Olympics got started today in Paris and stuffing my DVR full of archery, fencing, and myriad other sports you only think about every 4 years. Speaking of individuals at the top of their game, we're joined today by Leah Marcus and Yasaman Bakhtiar, the co-founders of Good Girl Snacks, a company you might be familiar with if you've come across their viral hot girl pickles on your social media feed. Yasaman and Leah join us to share their story of ditching their day jobs as recent grads to start a pickle company with a Gen Z twist. It's a fascinating conversation on turning an abstract idea into a marketable reality and on the power of social media to build a brand before you've even got a product to sell. If you've got an iota of interest in entrepreneurial success stories, dear listener, you're gonna love this combo. It's kind of like How I Built This meets Shark Tank, except I'm not Guy Raz and I'm definitely not Mark Cuban. But speaking of Mr. Wonderfuls, we're also joined on the pod today by Father Saul to discuss a couple of newsy bits that caught our eye this week. There's the taco guide to end all taco guides from the LA Times, another big win for LA street vendors, and an au pastor tutorial from Bill Esparza. On that note, we also discuss the fallout from last week's Bill Esparza versus Villa's Tacos Battle Royale and answer a few comments that y'all left for us on social media because we're forward-thinking and interactive, and without further ado, it's time to chow down. Dear listener, I made a deal with my wife. She let me start a food podcast and eat ungodly amounts of noodles, pizza, sandwiches, and more under two conditions. One is that I never utter her name. The other is that I find ways to be healthy outside of my work in food. Being the fantastic partner I am, I found a few ways to up my health game. I exercise almost every day, I try to sneak in salads for lunch whenever I can, and I only ever snack on healthy foods. The macadamia nut has become an essential part of my daily routine with the best omega-6 to 3 ratios in the nut game, 8 times better than pistachios and 20 times better than cashews. At houseofmacadamias.com, they've got a bunch of different macadamia products that you can enjoy, like savory and sweet snack packs and chocolate-covered snack bars. One of the problems with macadamias I've found is that they can be expensive, but I'm solving this for you, dear listener, because as of today, all you've got to do is head to houseofmacadamias.com and use code LAFOOD to get a 10% discount on a healthy snack that also happens to be delicious. So what are you waiting for? Head to www.houseofmacadamias.com/discount/LAFood and go nuts. Welcoming back to the podcast, my reluctant pick for Vice President of the United States of the LA Countdown, it's Father Saul. Father Saul, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. I think I would thrive in a vice president-y role. It's kind of what I am here, to your point. Just kind of like I want the title, but none of the responsibility. That'd be great.
Meaning you don't do anything, you just show up and look pretty?
Show up, look good, make some weird comments, laugh at my own jokes, and off we go.
Make a few gaffes, accidentally support gay marriage before I'm ready to do so, all that good stuff.
I guess so.
Yeah. Well, hey man, how you doing? You look great.
Good, I'm doing well, man. It's beautiful in Seattle. Finally, we're thriving up here. I can't complain. It's been a good time.
Any good eats recently?
I went to Rockfish Seafood and Spirits up here in Seattle with a friend and former colleague of yours, Amy Jasper. She was in town. Got to catch up.
Oh.
Yeah. That was decent. I've been wanting to eat there for a long time. It's been on the list. It was, I would say, like, okay though. It didn't quite hit the heights I was hoping for. But otherwise, no, just hanging out. A lot of at home eats. We've been breaking into the New York Times, making some spinach salads, some kale salads.
Wow.
Yeah, this is what you wanted. This is the update.
This is great. So Rockfish is what, like a Seattle 7 and LA 4, like that kind of thing?
Yeah, I would be able to Seattle 7, maybe an LA 5. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. I've heard worse. I had a wonderful dinner last night at a brand new restaurant on La Brea called Leopardo by Josh Skanes. we absolutely have to go. It's like, it's really interesting. I'm not sure yet if I love it or if I hate it.
Hmm.
Their whole thing is they're trying to offer you like unexpected takes on familiar favorites. So it's basically just a pizza restaurant,
Mhm.
but they charge $38 for pizza, and it's and they serve like tartare, except instead of beef, it's elk. It's like, it's kind of bizarre. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, so is the most unexpected part of the pizza the price? The price of the pizza? I'd be like, gotcha, didn't we?
There's two really unexpected parts of the pizza. One is the price for sure. It's like $38, right? The other is the fact that it's like, how most pizzas are probably like 90% surface and then 10% crust, right?
Yeah.
This one is probably 70% crust with a tiny bit of surface in the middle. It's like a big ass puffy crust all around the edges. You look at it and you're like, I'm paying $38 for essentially crust with a tiny bit of toppings. This feels like I'm getting ripped off. But I was at dinner with our good friends Abdo and Sharif, and to my complete surprise, everybody loved it.
Huh.
Like, it feels like you should hate the experience, and everybody absolutely loved it. So really left me scratching my head.
Interesting. This feels like a trap. This feels like a sting operation for influencers. While someone makes their intentionally worst restaurant but brands it the right way, and to like watch all the influencers like it. What's that show, the play The Producers, where they make an intentionally terrible play that everyone loves? I feel like it got producered, bro.
Yeah, this is the springtime for Hitler of pizzerias. Yeah, that's the name of the show and the producers,
Oh, got
bro.
it.
Jesus, don't make me feel don't look at me like that, man. Not in this political climate. Jesus. But yeah, I think you might be onto something, because they literally have like a pink neon sign outside.
Classic.
Yeah, and it's very, very influencery. Yeah, the more I think about it, I think this may be performance theater, but I'd love to see your reaction to it.
Wait, this is, I actually just was looking for some reason around. I think I actually Googled. You'd sent me some photos from a brewery last night.
Yeah.
I was looking at where the brewery was, and there was a spot called like Dinner at Hers, or Dinner at His, or something like that.
Met her at a bar.
Met her at a bar. Met him at a bar. Yeah.
Dinner hymns. That sounds like when you're working late at the like erectile dysfunction supply company.
Yeah, met her at a bar, met him at a bar. I just noticed that, and I was like, oh wow, it's like a sister concept across the street. But
Yeah.
and it made me curious. I was like, I want to kind of do like a one-on-one, figure out how they're splitting that out.
Yeah.
Dinner at Him's.
By all accounts, it's a pretty decent place. I did think it was hilarious yesterday when told you that I was at this brewery, All Seasons Brewery, by the way. Awesome place. Like, there are people just like,
Oh, yeah?
I just posted up with a laptop there for like 2 hours while I waited for dinner, because Leopardo was only able to seat us at 9:30. Basically, I sat there with a laptop for 2 hours just working, actually editing this podcast for tomorrow. And it was awesome. Just a lot of great people watching, great location, right next to a bunch of restaurants. There's good tacos there from Chica's Tacos. And I thought it was hilarious that of all things happening there, it was a Pomona College alumni meeting.
Yeah. Really, really random, actually. Like, completely, like a real, like, I feel like they only do like one of those a year, if I can remember correctly. So hey,
Yeah.
right place at the right time, apparently, to see a bunch of nerds hanging out.
It was a bit creepy when you asked me to snap a picture to see if you recognized anybody, but I did it.
Which I actually did recognize one person, but
Shout out.
not to be named.
Really? You don't want me to name her?
I feel like probably not. That'd be weird, right?
I don't know, man. I have a feeling that they are not listening to this podcast. Well, speaking of people who are listening to this podcast, a lot of people tuned in for our episode last week, in which we discussed the Vias Tacos versus Bill Esparza battle royale, if you will. Did this surprise you, Saul, that so many people were interested in this topic?
I mean, it didn't. I knew it was like a controversial moment in the food landscape in LA, but yeah, people are in their feelings about Bill and Vias and all that. Interesting conversation though in the comments. I appreciated it. Appreciated the perspectives we saw.
Have you had any follow-up thoughts since then? Any regrets?
Any regret? No regrets. I think we did a decent job of trying to balance the perspectives there. Yeah, no, I think we stand. I stand by it. I stand by what we said.
I thought you were going to backtrack a little bit. I remember you saying afterwards that you thought you were maybe a little too pro Bill.
I mean, I think listening back, I think it was a fair. I would say, and I said this actually explicitly on the pod that I was like pro Bill or team Bill on the food, but not so much team Bill on the tone of the stories, and I think that's an appropriate. Yeah, I think that's an appropriate like line to walk there.
Yeah. Well, look, I've gotten feedback that this podcast isn't interactive enough. Okay. So we're going to make it interactive today. We did get, to your point, a bunch of comments on our Instagram post and TikTok post for that matter of promoting our Bill Esparza Via's Tacos episode. So I wanted to read a few of the notable comments and get your reaction. Okay. First, I wanted to point out that Via's Tacos themselves, Victor himself was like, in the comments, like, going after haters, making his point. And I just wanted to read what he wrote, almost to give him the chance to respond, right? He wrote in our comments, "This wasn't a food review. It was an attack to myself as an individual, my restaurant, our accomplishments, our customers, and everything that has to do with Via's Tacos. He made it seem like we were enemies for the past 10 years or something like that. I don't even know this guy at all. It wasn't professional, and I honestly feel sorry for the guy. I'm sure I wasn't the only one who was reading through his 34 stories and didn't think there was something seriously wrong. I've never talked to him or don't know him, although a bunch of his friends reached out to me telling me some wild shit, which I would pay to know. All I got is a DM from him in 2021 that read, 'Thank you for your hospitality and for feeding us. I enjoyed your original take on tacos.' But I thought that was a really interesting point. The only interaction they've ever had is Bill Esparza reaching out to him back in 2021 after visiting the taqueria and saying, 'I enjoyed your original take on tacos.' Anything about that stand out to you?"
No, I mean generally no. But aside from I appreciate that Victor is out there standing, backing his restaurant, taking on the haters one on one. Not that we are haters, for the record. He's just like making his opinion known on the overall feud here. But at the same time, I feel like there's from both of them, there's a bit of an energy of like, I don't even care. I've said my piece.
Yeah.
But but all this stuff, how I feel, just like, don't say I'm mad. Don't put it in the newspaper that I was mad.
Yeah.
But I appreciated Victor hopping in there and responding to some other comments, making his perspective known. It's always good to see.
He's definitely passionate. Speaking of passionate, I also wanted to read the comment from our friend Daniel Wargo, Forking Around, who, is usually a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. But in the comment, he wrote, "Saw this on your newsletter this morning," our LA Food Stack newsletter, which you can subscribe at the link in the show notes, dear listener. And he says, "It made my blood boil, honestly. You can voice your opinion without being a total asshole. This guy has a superiority complex, in my opinion. And I felt the same way when I listened to him on your podcast." I didn't get superiority complex when we had Bill on the podcast, per se.
No, I didn't either. But it's a significant point. Daniel's a laid back, very chill and happy guy. If you got his blood boiling, maybe you need to step back and reflect because. I've never seen Daniel so upset. And look, again, I'll say for fair reason. Like we noted when we had the podcast, like, yes, when we spoke, it was about a day or two later after the stories, about a day later, right? And we had time to sit back, digest, and try to give everything a fair shake. But when you read them for the first time, you're like, like I think Victor says, like, something wrong. Is this guy okay? What's going on here? And that's certainly the first impression you get before you kind of try to dive deep into the details of Bill's takes there. So an interesting response from Daniel as well.
I think you'll like this one. This one is from a longtime follower called Ru Munafun. I actually don't know his real name, but his handle is Ru Munafun, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. He says, "Underneath all the vitriol, I think there's a genuine story here about the influencer type marketing and gentrification in Highland Park. I've said it before, but without the visual appeal of the tacos and Victor's personality coupled with the changing demographics of HLP, I don't think Via's would be where it is today. That's the interesting story to me." I found this one is interesting to me, Saul, because you and I obviously talked about the influencer piece of this, but we didn't talk about the changing demographic piece. Do you think that there's something there?
I mean, possibly. I think Victor's energy and the brand of Via's is such that it would have draws people from all over LA, not just Highland Park, I assume. But I think this is on point. this comment. I think in terms of what the real story might be here, and it kind of alludes to what we discussed with like, hey, if this was not an Insta story, but instead an like Eater article or something, I think that's kind of the angle a more in-depth reporting piece might have taken to say like, hey, who likes this place and why does it draw a certain kind of person, and what does this marketing say about either changing demographics in HLP in Highland Park or otherwise. So yeah, no, I appreciated this comment a lot. I think they're exactly right in terms of like what the underlying story of interest might be here.
Yeah, I think they're right about that. I'm not sure that the changing demographic argument can be made to Via's Taco specifically because we're not talking about Home State or Giada or a lot of the other businesses that have come into Highland Park brought to us from people from outside the community. This is a place from a person who was literally born and raised in Highland Park. There may be a generational story in terms of like a new wave of like, approach to Mexican food, which I think could be a story too, but also because of the fact that you bring up that this has attracted people from all over LA, like, young influencer prone people from all over LA, then, I'm not sure the changing demographic of the neighborhood itself makes as much sense to me, although I definitely appreciate the point. Look, last one I wanted to bring up because I thought this one was particularly funny, and I think you did too. Somebody commented on the post that they appreciated Bill's insights, right? And that they've never tried Via's Tacos, but they're happy to see like a balanced review. And somebody commented in response to that, you as an individual should go and experience yourself. Who needs to read a review from a washed up writer anyways? Even the LA Countdown isn't a credible source. They've done multiple interviews with appropriators and transplant influencer chefs who are doing nothing for the community. Try before you deny, brother. This one was, I thought the part that made me chuckle about this one is that you pointed out that because they said even the LA Countdown isn't a credible source, kind of like sets the expectation that we could be a credible source.
I love that. Love that for us. Credibility is our number one goal out here on the LA Food Podcast, and appreciate this commenter for suggesting that we could have even a crumb of it.
Yeah. Well, look, thanks to everybody who listened to that episode and who engaged with us on the social media posts. We really appreciate it. If you like this, where we respond to your comments, we'll do it more often. So do let us know. But look, I want to talk about a different set of tacos, and that is this week, the LA Times dropped an 8-story package on tacos, including a guide to the best 101 taquerias in Los Angeles. It was a truly impressive slate of stories. It's the kind of thing that looks like it takes years to compile, and by all accounts, it did. Saul, what stood out to you about this?
What stood out? I mean, first of all, that this hadn't been done. It almost felt like this had existed always. I think this is their inaugural 101 best taco list, but for some reason in my mind, I assume this is just yet another in a long series of the 101 best taco list. But in fact, it's not. I think this is the first time they've really gone big and deep in terms of their research and experience to try and stack or collect the 101 best, and really appreciated it. I also, what stood out was the level of detail they went into about the process they took here, which I really loved.
The process was cool. I like that piece too, especially because we love to know how these things come together. I saw Stephanie Brazier, I think she was quoted as saying that she had to have 7 tacos in one sitting or something.
Well, she had 21 tacos in a day, and having as many as so trying 7 tacos in one place. You can't just try one, right?
Yeah.
But low key, you just eat one. You are one and done when you go to your spots, typically, right?
What do you mean?
You have one sandwich, one slice of pizza, one taco. Isn't that the ethos of the LA Countdown?
Well, it depends, right? Like if this year we're showcasing dishes with noodles, so absolutely, right? But I mean the trick here is you got to get good at taking bites as opposed to taking down an entire taco or taking down an entire sandwich, right? If you're having 7 tacos, you can realistically probably get that done in 10 bites. You can and most people, we learned this actually on the Bill Esparza pod, they have about 20 bites for breakfast, 20 bites for lunch, and 40 bites for dinner. So if you're limiting to yourself to bites as opposed to trying to take down an entire slate of tacos, then you can manage it, right?
Interesting. That's a good math on it. Yeah. But yes. Brajo said she had 21 tacos, or at least tried 21 tacos in a day, which is nuts. That's a lot of taco. That's a lot of taco. And so, I mean, the list is going to be a great resource. And again, I really appreciate the lengths and the effort they took to say, here's what the experience was like from the germ of the idea for doing this kind of list to how they went about executing.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. I personally, my favorite piece of the entire package, maybe unsurprisingly, was Daniel Hernandez's piece on how LA achieved peak taco, which was basically a look back at sort of the evolution of the taco in the city and sort of like tracing it back to like the days of like, Mitla Cafe, which was the precursor to Taco Bell, to then like King Taco and the invention of the taco truck. I was reading this and I was like, holy shit. I think I'm seeing a James Beard Award winner right here.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great shout, actually.
I mean, it's like it's really well done. I think the entire package is well done, and the other thing I really appreciated is that I don't know if you've noticed this, but like especially with taquerias, like when you're looking at a lot of lists, I don't think this is true of all lists. Please, Bill Esparza, don't come after me. But I feel like when you're looking at a lot of lists, especially when it comes to taquerias, they don't tend to showcase the taqueros or the people behind the operation.
Yeah.
Whereas with other lists like pizza shops or like fine dining shops, the chef's name is always out there, right? Like they did a really good job of trying to highlight some of the taqueros too. Like they like, tried to tell us the story of who is behind which family is behind which operation and whatnot. And I really appreciated that because I think we need to see that more in general coverage of taquerias. Another story in the package was a list of like celebrity and influencer answers of the best taqueria.
Mm-hmm.
This was like, a fun, easy piece to put in the package. I wanted to ask you who you thought had the coolest answer.
Coolest answer, it's hard. I mean, a lot of people, there's a lot of overlap here. I will say the whitest answer definitely goes to Ty Burrell, I feel like. Just because I don't know if that's actually true, but just as Ty Burrell. He's got white vibes. He said like Loteria in the old farmer's market, and I was like, it feels kind of white to me.
Jim Harbaugh said Tito's Tacos.
Jim Harbaugh. That's right. No, actually, that is the whitest answer. That for sure is. And look, Jim's new to the city. He'll have plenty of time to try.
Let's be clear, he won't.
Why not?
Jim Harbaugh, he doesn't strike me as a taco guy. He just strikes me as like
he's a
whatever makes it to his desk kind of guy.
white rice and unseasoned chicken breast. Sure, yeah. I feel like he'll get out there a little bit, maybe. No, the answer I appreciated the most here actually was not about the best taco spot, but it was from Cindy Carcamo, the LA Times food reporter, who noted that you always try to make sure to try the taco without any salsas because you want to get the true flavor of the taco, see how tender the meat is. And then the best ones sometimes don't even need additional dressing. And then it's fun to add salsas from there. And I just thought that was a useful. Too many people, I find, always put pour salsas all over a taco before they even try it. I always have to try a taco first, plain, see what it's like, and then determine what kind of salsa it needs on top.
Bro, I have like a major taco compliment coming for you in a little bit, and this plays into it, but I'm not going to give it to you right now, okay?
Huh.
I think that's an interesting point for sure from Cindy Carcamo. I think that Bill Esparza has also said like people also get too happy with like the cilantro and the onions too when there's an option. It's like
right.
they just go and they make like a salad on their plate, right?
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. Like you need to taste it first and see like what it could benefit from. And then the point isn't to like I don't know, like try to freeload off of their like salad bar and like make yourself like a salad on your plate. It is to like enhance the flavor of the tacos. So keep that in mind, people. Okay. Lastly, I want to talk about on this is that they also put out a glossary of taco terms, and I want to quickly quiz you to see if how good you are at identifying some of these taco glossary terms.
Damn, I did not read this glossary. I'm gonna really eat it in this quiz. Okay, let's do this. Let's go.
Dude, you're gonna be fine, okay? This is not hard stuff, okay? I'm gonna start you with an easy one, okay? What does al carbon mean?
On the fire. I think that's like I think that is al carbon typically means cooked over open flame, right?
Okay, we'll allow it. It says on mesquite or charcoal.
Yeah. Same thing.
Well, it's more about the source of the flame.
Yeah. You're right. That's what I had in my head for the record.
Sure. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a cut of meat. Okay, let's see if you can identify it.
Ooh,
Buche.
buche. I definitely know this.
They have it at Taco Zone, one of our favorites.
Yeah, I know. So, cabeza is beef cheek. Buche is buche tripe? Is that no? That's tripas.
That's tripa, but you're getting closer anatomically speaking.
Yeah. Like a stomach or
Yes, it's stomach.
it is
It's
stomach.
stomach.
Okay, that's okay.
It's
Yeah.
pork
Yeah.
stomach,
Yeah.
also known commonly as hog maws. So it's awful, basically.
Okay.
Okay, dude, you're killing this, man. I really wasn't.
Not too bad. Not. I mean, I think I've been like kind of like 80%
Yeah.
on point each time
What does it mean if they ask you con todo?
with everything, baby.
And do you go con todo?
If they, I typically, well, I mean, again, it's a tricky thing. I'll ask for con todo or stuff on the side, but typically, if I go, there's a place called Rice Beans and Happiness here in Seattle, and sometimes I just want to like get the taco the way the taquero has decided like to have it made, right? To have it built. So sometimes if they ask for it, I'll say like yes, and like let me serve. What's their vision for the taco?
Okay, last one I'm gonna ask you, okay, is Vampiro. What is a Vampiro?
Vampiro, if I remember correctly, is like a tostada, but kind of like flipped. Like it's not flat; it's like kind of like a V shape, literally like V, like Vampiro, and then like the toppings are in that. Yeah,
V like Vampiro, also the name to your autobiography. It
Okay.
is it is basically that. It's an open faced taco with corn tortillas. They're actually grilled on the open flame until they get super crispy.
Ah,
But yeah, that's where the tostada comp actually is. You nailed it, man.
gotcha.
Hey, dude, not so bad with your glossary terms.
Hey,
Look, congrats to the LA Times. This was a great package. I have a conspiracy theory about it, which I'm not going to share today. But let's just say that I'm going to say this. Maybe I had something to do with this. Maybe I did. Who knows?
oh. You're saying you inspired them.
All I'm going to say is when you look at the process, okay, the process, and you look at when Daniel Hernandez had this idea, you've also got to ask yourself, were they interviewing for a position at that time? Did they interview anyone who was perhaps eating 100 tacos at 100 taquerias and may have shared that information with him during the interview?
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know the answer to that question.
That's wild.
But I just connecting some dots, man. I'm just saying, dude, the conspiracies are real. Okay, look, I just wanted to bring one more taco thing up, and that is kind of funnily enough. Speaking of conspiracies, Bill Esparza published a highly opinionated column the same day that this came out on Al Pastor. I don't think this was an accident. I don't know for sure, but it just strikes me as kind of funny. Bill was actually consulted for
Of course. Yeah.
the LA Times 101 guide. So, he was included in that, of course, and they linked to a lot of his stories. But I quite enjoyed this particular highly opinionated. Are you an Al Pastor fan yourself?
I am, man. And it was really cool to see this deep dive. Yeah, I took a look at Bill's piece, and yeah, huge Al Pastor fan.
So here's what you're looking for when you're looking for a good Al Pastor, apparently. I boil it down to three things. One is you want it to be charred and dry. You don't want the marinade to still be wet. You want it to like basically have completely dried so that it's getting nice and dark on the trompo. Two, you want a brigade system. You want people working in like a brigade system to bring you your taco. One person at the trompo, other people at the tortilla station, other people at the salsa station. That's the ideal way. And finally, it's all about having a skilled trompero. Bro, this is where my compliment for you comes down, okay? I have determined, based on all of this research that we've done on the last couple weeks of tacos, that you may just be a taco savant.
You think so?
Yeah. Here's why, okay? There are two taquerias that a taco expert, Bill Esparza, has taken issue with recently. One, Via's Tacos. Two, Angel's.
Oh, yeah.
Angel's apparently not great Al Pastor. Famously, I took you to Angel's, and famously, you didn't like it that much, right?
That's right. Actually, that is correct. Yeah, I remember this.
Dude, and then you also hit me with the I never dress my tacos with salsa. I always taste it first, which is literally what you're supposed to do. Dude, you are like you're a taco savant.
I was born in the wrong geography, man. I belong in our favorite country, my home country of Mexico. I feel like someone who has if I had developed this talent, this innate talent I have, this innate understanding of the taco, who knows how high I could fly.
Yeah.
I'd be writing James Beard articles every year. No, I'm of course I'm of course joking, but it's nothing makes me feel better than like having a hot take based on nothing but like the like shooting off the hip of like I try one by a taco and be like I don't like it, and then Bill Esparza comes through later and tells us not in fact good. That's the best. That's the best.
It's pretty impressive, honestly. And my other like sort of like learning from this is that I have horrible taste in tacos, like empirically speaking. Like I just like bad tacos. Like literally, Bill was saying like what to look for in an al pastor that is bad, and I'm like, that's what I like about it. Like I like it I like it when the trompo is saucy, bro. I like that. And so I think I just have fundamentally bad taste in al pastor, but it made me think like, hey, maybe there's like a, sometimes like the wrong thing becomes the new thing and it becomes its own thing,
Uh-huh.
and maybe that's what this is. Like there's just a new school of al pastor happening and I'm on the front lines of that.
Yeah. Why don't we keep telling yourself that? let's tell you. Let's say that's what's happening.
All right. Look, from the goods to the people behind the goods, I wanted to quickly touch on the fact that there was a big win for street vendors in LA this week. I've talked about street vendors ad nauseum, usually when you're not on the pod, Saul, because I know you don't really care about this stuff. But basically, like, I'm just kidding. He cares very much, people. He cares. Basically, no vending zones were abolished earlier this year, aka preventing street vendors from going to places like the Hollywood Walk of Fame and around Dodger Stadium to sell their goods. But there was still a lawsuit in place in which street vendors were suing the city for basically like the fees that they had accrued from fines over the years of not being allowed to serve at these various places. And it turns out that the city of LA decided to settle said lawsuit by agreeing not just to repeal the final bans on vending near places like schools, farmers markets, and other places, but also canceling those citations issued to vendors for selling in restricted areas. Hey, I just want to take a moment to just, celebrate this because we've had people on the podcast before to talk about street vending, and there's been a ton of work that goes into this, and this kind of just flew under the radar.
Get out there. Yeah, good news. Go support your local street vendor.
I will say the one thing that sticks out to me about this, because I've always got to have a take, is in the piece they were talking, it was Doug Smith, actually, who's been a guest on this podcast. He was saying that there's an estimation that there's like 50,000 street vendors out there, and actually that's an underestimation most likely because a lot of like street vendors operate in the shadows because of things like fines and whatnot. And I feel like this is only going to increase the number of people out there street vending. I think that's an awesome thing.
This had me thinking about our pupusa stand close to Portia Street.
Oh yeah.
In Echo Park, right on the former We Got It Mart station. And the most recent time I was in LA, I actually noticed they've really stepped up their operation, man. They're no longer just a cart. They have like a tent going on, like a couple different planchas going. They've really expanded, and it's great to see.
I wonder how much of that is because it's legal now.
Right?
I wonder now if they don't have to like put money aside for potential citations and whatnot. They've been able to reinvest it in their business.
There you go.
So more pupusas, more Oaxacan quesadillas. Let's get it. All right. Last couple things I want to talk about before we get to our guest today. Okay. There's been a lot of coverage about food at the Olympics, especially in the New York Times. Saul, do you care about the Olympics?
Not really. No, not really. No disrespect, buddy. I know it's a huge part of your life for like years. I care about Team USA basketball, and I care specifically about Joel Embiid. That's basic.
Yeah. And do you care at all about food at the Olympics?
Similarly, no, especially when it's in Paris, man. I have not. You know what's funny, man? I'm just not like a French food guy.
Me either.
I should I guess like grow my education in that space, but yeah, no, not I don't super care.
Do you remember my judgy table against French food when we did our Top Chef episode with compliments to the chef?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I hate French food.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, French food. Just like why?
I don't even really like the Olympics that much. I was just forced to like it for a little while for my job.
Careful, buddy. Careful.
What? It's true. I mean, look,
I mean, you still know people.
Yeah, but the chances that they listen to this podcast are slim to none.
Hey, look, I still want those free tickets, buddy. Don't ruin this for me.
Yeah, look, it's okay. I like the Olympics. I like them. I just, there's all this like sort of like religiosity almost that comes around the Olympics. Like literally, I do think that people who are really in it, they truly believe that this is the last great thing that happens on Earth, because they say it's like the last example of like people coming together from all over the globe to do something. It's I mean, it's a sports event, guys. Like, let's
Yeah,
not make this bigger than it is, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
We're playing badminton. Let's calm down.
yeah, I'm sorry, but anywhere where we're playing badminton is just not the greatest thing that humanity has ever done. It's just not, you know. But I do actually find the operations part interesting, and the food at the Olympics is a huge part of that operations.
Hmm.
I'm not super interested in what's happening in Paris, but I just think it's a really interesting to one to watch as Los Angeles gets ready for the Olympics, because I think there's going to be some really interesting like things that will need to happen in terms of concessions, but also feeding the athletes at the Olympic Village over at UCLA. And I just think that there's going to be some interesting opportunities for vendors and restaurateurs in Los Angeles, and I'm excited to see how that all activates. So I care about that.
Yeah, and that is fair. The logistics of running an event of this size, and yeah, how to feed everyone well, right, is an interesting question. I'll dive into this article. I'll see if there's something interesting that they can that's pulled out here. But yes, and to your point, especially as LA comes around the bend in 4 years' time, will be interesting to see how it comes together for the 28 Olympics.
And who knows, you might even be living in Los Angeles by 2028.
Who knows? Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Look, finally, last thing, because you are also the LA Food Podcast TV correspondent, I wanted to bring up that Eater dropped a review of Renee Redzepi's new show now streaming on Apple Plus, Omnivore, and they weren't entirely positive. Are you interested in seeing this show?
I don't think I am. Based on the review, it sounds like they compared it to like a Planet Earth for food, which like is interesting enough, right? Shows like this and Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat on Netflix, and even Chef's Table, they have some value to me as like a cool background visuals and like music, and I'm like half paying attention while working. Like it has value in that way, but I don't think I'm gonna sit down and watch it.
It seems really
Yeah.
boring. I like just I'm just like looking at the trailer almost put me to sleep. I'm not gonna lie. And apparently, it's all like it sounds very self-important based on the review. Like it sounds like he explores one thing that's essential to cooking in each episode, and each one comes back to a dish at Noma.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like as a society, we need to move past the deification of Noma. I genuinely feel like it's everywhere.
Yeah, no, it is like from the bear to this. Like Noma is not the center of the world, right? So yeah, this is probably essentially a self branding exercise for Renee Redzepi. And I'm sure there's some interesting stuff you could learn from watching it, but again, I just don't think it sounds like compelling enough to really warrant like however many hours of my time. However, this does kind of make me itch for the food competition show again.
Mm.
Feeling my Top Chef withdrawals. I want to know when's Dave Chang going to come through with something weird for us to watch again.
Yeah, like a Secret Chef. Honestly, at this point, I would even give it up for a season 2 of Secret Chef or another season of 5-Star Chef. That was a good
That's
show.
what we really want. That's what we want.
That's what we really want. Netflix, make it happen. Yeah, this type of show I think is becoming super repetitive. Like it's these shows where like one figure who's supposed to have this gravitational pull travels places and, experiences food shit. Like we have it with Stanley Tucci in Italy. Eva Longoria has her version in Mexico. Phil Rosenthal has a show on Netflix. They're all like a little bit different, some more successful than others. But as a formula, it just feels really stale. I feel like it needs something to make it great again, so to speak, if you'll allow me.
Yeah, no, I mean even Ugly Delicious. Well, Ugly Delicious was maybe a more creative version of this, right? It had different, like, sure, Dave was kind of at the center, but they actually, I thought, used many more creative vehicles. So that's actually Ugly Delicious. I would use as an example of someone doing it well. But yeah, Samin Nosrat for the Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat show. Michael Pollan did a version of this, I think, for Omnivore's Dilemma. Like, it's just a endless kind of same thing and very similar ideas throughout, right? And yeah, someone needs to come through and break the formula again, or you just have to have the perfect mix of personality and content, right?
There's only one that I think has nailed it consistently, never gets old. Do you know which one it is?
Are you talking about Tucci?
No. I actually like the Tucci one, but even that one I think drags sometimes. I think the one show that has nailed this, never gets old, and will continue probably forever.
Hmm.
Diners, drive-ins, and motherfucking drives.
Right before you said it, I knew. Yeah, I don't know. Is he still making new seasons of that?
I'm pretty sure, man. I'm pretty sure. I think there's new episodes like every Friday.
Wow, impressive.
Dude, it's the easiest show to make for him, I'm sure. And like, talk about personality, mission, like it's great. We love the show. Diners, drive-ins, and dives forever. Live forever. Okay, look, man, this has been a good one. You said you weren't excited for this one, but I thought this one was hilarious. Personally, I've had a good time. I've laughed. I've loved. I've enjoyed it.
It's a good time. It's nice to have some levity after such a heavy episode last week.
Yeah. Do you have a shitty Yelp review of the week?
I not really shitty Yelp review. I did want to share a funny story though, which is a friend of mine here in Seattle listened to the podcast for the first time, and he's kind of like we're alumni of the same school. He's a few years younger than me. He started his own nonprofit. Really cool, really impressive guy, and I've been in contact with him. Wait, what do you laugh? What's so funny?
I'm just laughing. Like, people go on to do important things, and we're doing this.
Yeah, fair. That is a fair thing to laugh at. And it was funny because, I kind of like met him in this context of, he was asking for advice. I was working at a philanthropy. He's like, how do we do fundraising, all that stuff. And then he listened to the podcast for the first time, and he was like, it's funny listening back because I can hear what you sound like when you're tactfully disagreeing with someone. I can hear you with your friend, and it makes you reflect on all the time when you've like tactfully like disagreed in our conversation. Like, I know like the verbal tics now to listen for.
Oh yeah,
when we're talking, and you think, and I have an idea, and you think it's not such a good idea.
Bro, I do a mean you impression actually.
Oh yeah, you sent me that video. I completely forgot about this. That was really good. Yeah, we watched that a couple times back. Yeah, you have the mannerisms.
You do have certain mannerisms and tells when you're like about to disagree tactfully, so to speak.
Yeah.
I have one shitty Yelp review of the week. I was going to tell one about dinner last night, but I actually will tell one that's related to my partner because she told me to tell this beforehand, which I appreciated. She's showing some involvement in the podcast. She's like, that should be your shitty Yelp review. Literally right before this podcast, she's like, do you think I'm pretty? And this was so we started recording at 4 p.m. She asked me this at like 3:56, She says, do you think I'm pretty? And I'm like, I don't have time for this. I need to record the podcast. And she's like, you could have just said yes. Now you have to tell that as your shitty Yelp review of the week. So yeah, she was right. I could have just said yes. I was just worried that it would lead to like a longer conversation, and I didn't have time for it.
Why would saying yes lead to a longer conversation?
I just felt like, sometimes like you have to, as a partner, offer a pep talk,
Sure, yeah. For the record, I've learned recently that I'm apparently not very good at this either. So we're
Oh, I'm great. I'm actually fantastic at pep talks, but part of being fantastic at pep talks is they're not about brevity, right? Like you kind of have to like
no, yeah.
Get them on side. You have to like tell them a story, right? And like in which they see themselves and can come along with you, right? And I just didn't have time for that. So I thought that was the assignment, and I was like, I don't have time for that. Let's talk later, okay? And she was like, you could have just said yes. Now that's your shitty Yelp review of the week.
Nailed it. 1 star. I appreciate the. I hope this becomes a trend of dropping your shitty Yelp review of the week on you right before we start each episode.
I mean, honestly, I would appreciate her pointing them out to me.
Oh wait, you have to bleep out. Shit, I said her name. I forgot.
I'll bleep it out. All right, bro. Well, hey, how do you feel? Let me ask you. How do you feel about pickles?
I used to be a big fan of pickles growing up. Nowadays, I get my pickles taken off everything or give them to Emily. She likes her pickles.
No.
Yeah.
You do? You're not even joking?
I'm not joking, no pickles on burgers, no pickles on sandwiches. I don't know. The thing is, I don't dislike pickles. I like the taste of them typically, but I just like haven't been in a pickle mood except for right now when right after I listen to this interview with someone who surely is deeply involved in pickles.
It's true. Coming up after the break, we have the co-CEOs and co-founders of Hot Girl Pickles. We'll be right back.
Hot Girl Pickles.
Dear listener, my wife recently decided to start eating meat after more than 15 years of being a vegetarian, and being the conscientious consumer that I am, I've been looking for ways to make our household's meat consumption as high quality and sustainable as possible. That's why I'm absolutely thrilled to have found First Light Farms, a small collective of passionate family farmers in New Zealand who are quietly changing the world. Not only are they producing the most tender, rich, and succulent Wagyu beef money can buy, but you can rest assured that First Light's cattle were raised as nature intended, living it up on lush pasture, eating a 100% grass diet with absolutely no grains, no animal byproducts, and no feedlots. The result is the best tasting meat in the game, full of natural marbling and packed with omega-3 fats. If you've ever enjoyed a meal at Ma2 in Beverly Hills, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Ma2 famously sources all of its meat directly from First Light, and the good news is that you too can have First Light Farms meats delivered straight to your door. All you have to do is visit www.firstlight.farm, where you can buy their meats and also sign up for their members-only steak club. Members of the steak club enjoy tons of benefits, including monthly shipments of steaks, access to the highest marble score meats, and, this is my favorite part, access to First Light's full library of proprietary recipes and techniques. Also, you can cook the perfect steak within the comfort of your own home. Buying good steak isn't easy, and it isn't cheap. First Light delivers the highest quality at an incredible deal, and now that I've seen the light, I'm never going back. Visit www.firstlight.farm to learn more and use the code LAFood10 for a 10% discount on your first order. Joining us on the LA Food Podcast today, the co-founders of Good Girl Snacks, Leah Marcus and Yasaman Bakhtiar. Leah, Yasaman, how you guys doing today?
Good. Excited to chat. Thanks for having us.
Oh my God, thank you for finding time in your schedules as co-founders for speaking with us. You guys are calling us from separate places, I think. Let's start with you, Yasaman. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from LA. Leah and I are both in LA. This is where we started Good Girl Snacks. So yeah, we live 10 minutes away from each other, but calling from our respective homes.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing to live so close as co-founders? Leah, let me ask you.
Yes. Yeah, I think a lot of people think that we actually live together, but we were like, we're already best friends. We have a company together. Living together would be a little bit overkill. But 10 minutes is the perfect length because we can drive to each other's houses. Our house is basically like the office, so it makes things convenient.
Yeah, totally. But it's on the flip side, you know, if one of you really needs to get a hold of the other and the other person is ignoring the other, then you guys know where each other lives. So that's, you know, that's a downside.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who's faster at responding to emails?
Oof. I feel like we're both like pretty on top of it when it comes to emails.
Yeah.
I'm just like a crazy person and don't have any boundaries with myself. So I'm usually answering on the weekend, and Yasaman has better boundaries than me. She's a healthy queen. So she doesn't do that. But other than that, we both answer really quickly.
Yeah, I would say we're about the same. Maybe you're quicker. Yeah.
Hey, well, that's good. You guys both saying nice things about each other. So that's a good place to start as co-founders.
We're very supportive of each other.
Yeah, we have no ego. That's like the number one thing we tell people when they ask us how we have a company as best friends. And it's really just having zero ego and just being super happy for the other person's success and understanding that we both have different skills and celebrating those. So
yeah, well, it helps now that your guys' success is your shared success.
Exactly.
Yeah, how did you two meet?
So it's actually a funny story. We both went to USC, but we didn't actually technically meet on campus. We met prior to going to school. So we were both in our senior year of high school. And we both grew up in the same hometown. Leah moved out when she was around 9 or 10. And I stayed there for the remainder of my life until college. And we had just mutual friends that connected us together when they found out that we were both going to the same university. We later found out that our grandmas knew each other, like our family, like our whole families knew of each other, and we had so many connections amongst our families. And yeah, but we actually met the summer before college. And once we got to USC, we were just attached at the hip.
Yeah,
Ever since.
inseparable.
Did you guys like, because I know sometimes when you meet somebody going into college or like right before, there's sometimes a pressure to like, hey, should we be roommates? Or maybe is that like going too far? Because what if we don't end up liking each other that much? Did you guys like succumb to that pressure? Or were you like, nah, we'll just see how it goes?
We already had roommates at this point. We met later in the summer, and then I think in the spring is when you actually pick your roommate. So yeah, we never actually lived together, which is crazy. Because we
Yeah.
literally see each other every single day, and we have for the last 6 years, but we never lived together. So
Yeah.
maybe that's why we're still friends. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I think we were kind of like, we've thought about it before because of
Yeah.
all our friends. I do think that we both live alone now, but I do think that if we had to live with somebody, our personalities would work very well as
Yeah.
roommates.
Yeah.
And yet we've never done it. And I
Yeah.
think it might be because we're kind of, I don't know, roommates, like it can either go great if you live with a friend or it can break a friendship up. And I think we've always been scared of messing with that.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's a delicate balance.
For sure.
Me and the co-host of this podcast, we were not really friends to begin with. We were just colleagues. Like we had some shared interests, but we weren't like close friends. And it was the perfect situation for us to move in together because, you know this person, he's not a serial killer,
Yeah.
but at least, it's not like your best friend. But of course, we ended up becoming best friends living together.
Yeah.
And that was like the ideal situation. But I've had it go the other way where you think you know somebody, you think you're homies, and then the tensions really come out when you're like, okay, who's taking the trash out? I've done it 18 times over the last 3
Yeah.
days. Could you please help me out? So
Yeah, exactly. If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
yeah, there you
We're
go.
good.
Exactly.
If it ain't broken, don't fix it. That is exactly what I was trying to say and failed miserably. Look, what were you guys studying at USC?
I was studying communications, and then Yasaman was studying art history, and then we both had minors. So I was minoring in design, and then had a double minor in marketing and finance. So we both have very complementary skills,
Mm-hmm.
and we both understand each other's skills as well. Like we can kind of pitch in, which is nice.
Yeah, very different skills to what is needed. I don't know. I feel like some people are surprised that neither of us studied business or like entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And especially me with my art history background, sometimes I kind of ask myself, like, what am I doing in the food and beverage industry?
Yeah.
But it actually worked out really well. And I feel like we both have complementary skills and are finding ourselves using them for our jobs today.
Yeah, I do think that what you study in college like matters so little to what you end up doing.
I agree.
Yeah, completely.
I did not take a single communications class, and that's what I ended up doing as a career. Believe it or not, I didn't take a single podcasting class either, and here I am. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's really kind of just like a way to figure out a little bit what you might like. And sometimes the internships you take on tell you more about what you want to do too. Did you guys have any of those experiences?
Totally.
Yeah, I interned in a few different places. Like I worked at a few consumer apps as like a marketing comm intern, which is why I ended up going into tech after college, in between college and this job basically. And then I was also working in fashion for a little bit, interior design, so kind of all over the place. I will say though, I feel like life kind of thrusts you where you need to go. I feel like I learned a lot about my skills in these internships, but like I did nothing related to food and beverage, right? So I think things just kind of happen.
Yeah, I similarly like had no idea that food and beverage
Yeah.
or even just CPG in general was where I'd end up. I was pretty set on working in the art industry, and most of my work experience prior to starting this company were in art, apart for one company where I worked as a brand coordinator at a perfume startup. That was kind of like my first taste of like a CPG startup experience. But yeah, studied art history with the aim of working in the art industry, like in an art gallery or an auction house. And funnily enough, in my marketing classes, you learn a lot about just like food and food marketing. And whenever we would look at case studies for different food companies, I always thought it was the most fun and the like most interesting category to market. And so I don't know, it's kind of full circle that I ended up in this industry without really ever knowing that that would happen ever.
Can I ask what was interesting about it?
I don't don't know. I think it might just be because I love food. And so thinking of interesting ways to market it to people seemed really fun. And I felt like it was maybe the category where you had to get the most creative with marketing it to others because it's such an essential part of every human's routine and every human's consumption, like daily consumption. And so I think that's what it was probably. And also because there's so much competition across brands and most of the time, like not that much differentiation between different products. Whereas I feel like in other categories, you have more of, I don't know, like unique factors that maybe you can leverage to market. I don't know. I always thought like, for example, we'd study Red Bull and I always thought that the Red Bull marketing strategy was so interesting. And Liquid Death was also another case study we looked at. And I always thought they were just like genius at everything they did. So
Yeah.
really funny.
I think something we didn't mention is like, even though our work experience or what we studied wasn't necessarily in parallel with the food and beverage industry, like Yasaman and I's relationship is very much so built on the foundation that is the love of food. So we were always trying new restaurants together, sending each other recipes, cooking together, like talking about food and like our family's recipes and just like traditions. And so even though it wasn't something that we thought we were going to be doing professionally, it always kind of tied us and bonded us together, which I think is nice that we're now, making that our business.
That's cool. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, for me in college, I was always really into food, but I was kind of seen as like a little bit of a weirdo for being into it. Like it wasn't cool yet to be into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was very much having to drag people to restaurants with me. So it's
Mhm.
cool that you guys found each other.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we both have Middle Eastern families, and in Middle Eastern cultures, food is just like a big social part of your life and of like hospitality and all of that. So that also ties into it nicely.
I got to ask, what were your favorite spots to go to? Maybe not around campus, but just in general when you were in college, like when you were like, yo, we
Oof.
have to go here, or like having a really tough week. Let's get away. Let's go grab this. What were the spots?
I feel like Yasaman and I had an era where like we ate at John and Vinny's literally every week
Oh my God, yeah.
because it was just like starting out, like it wasn't like cool yet, And so we thought we were like the coolest
Yeah.
people ever, and like that fusilli was like the best thing on the earth. But yeah, we used to go like I think once a week at a point.
Yeah, we went a lot. And we were also discovering a lot of restaurants around downtown LA just because it's so close to campus.
Yeah.
And I think we would just literally look up like infatuation lists of like the best DTLA restaurants, and we would just try and hit one of those like once a week. And then also for me, I grew up in Switzerland. And so when I came to the US, I was so fascinated by like the fast food culture here.
Yeah.
Because like in Switzerland, we have like McDonald's, Burger King, and now we have KFC, I think. But like,
Whoa, we got KFC? No, we were talking about this before the pod, but I grew up in Switzerland too, and this just blew my mind. We got KFC in Switzerland now?
I know, it's brand new. Things are moving. Things are starting to happen over there. Like I'm telling you.
We're only 60 years behind.
I saw like a Dunkin' Donuts wrapper in the street the other day. I was like, what? Like since when is that here?
Whoa.
But yeah, so when I came to LA, it was kind of like sensory overload. Like, oh my God, I must try Panda Express, Taco Bell, like all those places I thought were so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I would do a lot of that too.
And we would cook every Tuesday and do Taco Tuesdays also, which was really fun.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
It's like when you're in college and you're young, because we also had COVID when we were in college. So this is like, we're talking like our freshman, sophomore year right now. And then we were kind of not there anymore. But it was like so cool to us that people did Taco Tuesdays. And, we're like 18 and like drinking margaritas and yeah, doing nonsensical things. But yeah, always like literally every single day of the week we were either going to a new place or cooking or meeting up like at a food spot on campus. So
Yeah.
That's impressive because I feel like cooking in college is like such a daunting undertaking.
yeah.
It's like very like you gotta like I don't know. When I moved out and I went to college, I really wanted to make pizza because that's what I missed from home. And making pizza in the dorm kitchen was honestly one of the most like harrowing experiences of my entire life. Just like having to like
Tough.
yeah, make the dough, let it rest, make sure nobody talked, like fielding questions from people who were like heating up their ramen and stuff. And then like, yeah, it was a very, you really were putting yourself out there in a way. So good
Yeah.
for you for making those Taco Tuesdays a thing.
I know it was a serious
Yeah.
undertaking every week, but we
Yeah.
committed to it.
Commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I read that you guys had a shared passion for snacks. What were your favorite snacks?
That's a really hard. We ate a lot of hot Cheetos.
Oh, so much hot Cheetos. I think for
Yeah.
me, I was always a popcorn girl. And even it's actually funny because the USC college application, they had this one page where it was asking you random questions. And one of the questions was like, what was your favorite snack? Which I don't know, like how that really, I don't know. Very interesting that USC chose to do that as part of their college admissions process. But I remember saying popcorn because you can eat it either salty or sweet. And to that note, my favorite popcorn was the Boom Chicka Pop, like sweet and salty one that comes in the purple bag. And still to this day, it's my favorite popcorn.
It's so funny looking back at the snacks that and like the foods that I used to eat because I feel like now like being so much more educated on like ingredients and just like certain companies and just growing up and not being in my freshman 30 phase of life.
Oh, I'm still in my freshman 30 phase of life. Don't you worry.
But yeah, like now it's just so interesting like what I reach for. Like I would never touch a hot Cheeto today, but I would be like downing like bags of popcorn, for example. So it's interesting how that changes over time.
Yeah, a lot of Trader Joe's snacks also. We had a Trader Joe's on campus. So it was a lot of Trader Joe's cookies and
Yeah, obsession.
yeah, the Dunkers, yeah.
The Dunkers. Do you
So
remember those?
What were those?
Yeah, I would eat like a whole bucket. They were like these like flat cookies. They kind of looked like biscotti, but like they were chewier, and then the bottom was covered in dark chocolate. And I wouldn't eat in the dining halls, and I would just eat a bucket of those essentially for dinner, which was really balanced and healthy of me.
That's the most college shit I've ever heard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get into Trader Joe's snack phases too. I hate to say we did a whole like episode where we were talking about the problems with Trader Joe's, but some of those snacks
Yes.
just hit,
Yeah.
like
They do.
those chocolate covered coconut almonds, like for some reason.
Oh my God, those are insane. They have really good nuts. Like, they have like these Thai chili,
Yeah.
cashews, and like these crazy sweet nuts
Yeah.
I really like.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
really
they do.
They do. They also know how to obviously rip off small brands and repackage.
I was gonna
yeah.
say,
Yeah, literally.
hopefully they don't copy us.
Well, copying is the highest form of flattery. Certainly, it'll mean you've reached some level of success if they do that, right? But no, I don't wish that upon
Yeah.
you at all.
Thank you.
At what point? Okay, I gotta ask: who first had the idea of you know what? We're in jobs, we're doing our thing, but maybe we should try something else.
I think we were both really just bored, and I feel like we would either Yas would bring it up to me or I would bring it up to her in different instances, and it kind of just built up, and we just decided to, start thinking about what we could do. But I would be like, ugh, like I really don't like my job, or she would come to me and be like, I wonder what it would be like to start a company together again, or like something like that. And it just kind of all built up to the point where we were like, okay, let's just start thinking of things that we can do. And one day Yasaman sent me a message, and she was like, as a joke, she was like, what if we just started a pickle company called Hot Girl Pickles? Because we had been sending each other so many videos of pickle trends on TikTok. Like there was the chamoy pickle, there was the chickle, which was like a cheddar wrap pickle, there was the pickle sweatshirt. Her and I were like downing a jar of pickles every day. So we were, connoisseurs ourselves. And she texted me this, and I was like, LOL, this is kind of funny. But at the same time, in the next few days, we were like, wait, this is actually a fantastic idea. There was like 9 billion views combined with the hashtag pickle and hashtag pickles on TikTok. So there was huge social proof. Obviously, all these trends were happening. And then, there's so many cultures, and we did research on how many Americans eat it and stuff, and decided, okay, this is a great idea, and bought the domain and did all that stuff just a few days later. So
That's crazy. This pickle trend completely passed me by. So you're telling me there's just videos of people on TikTok just like making different pickles, eating pickles? Like what were the various trends?
Yeah, it was a lot of pickle recipes. I don't know. There was just this niche of individuals on TikTok who are just pickle lovers. And it was like pickle talk. That's what people call it. And it was all things pickle. Like, what are the best pickles? Like pickle recipes for how to pickle at home and pickling weird things. And yeah, the chamoy pickle and the cheddar pickle, like Leah was saying. And I don't know. And then a lot of girls were also saying hot girls eat pickles. And there was like this whole thing of people on the internet saying hot girls have stomach problems, hot girls have IBS, hot girls do this.
Oh yeah.
Like
hot girl walks. Like that was a thing, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And so a lot of people were saying hot girls eat pickles. And that's kind of where we thought of the name Hot Girl Pickles. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started.
we literally bought like a whiteboard at one point, and we were just scribbling down names for what we should call the company, because there was a moment in time where Yasaman and I were like, okay, maybe we don't call it Hot Girl Pickles, because what if we want to do another snack down the line? And so we just started brainstorming all these things, like scribbling on the whiteboard, and decided on Good Girl Snacks as like the overarching brand, just to give us the room to do another snack down the line or do multiple snacks down the line. And we started thinking of pickles kind of like Amazon started with books. Like we would start with pickles and then kind of expand into other things down the line.
Yeah.
And because pickles were such a trend, we really wanted to jump on it fast and make it happen when it was still relevant online. And so I think that's one of the things that kind of forced us to take the leap and quit our jobs and, really take Good Girl Snacks seriously, which was a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. We got some weird commentary when we told people that we were quitting to start a pickle company, but worth it.
Worth it. That is so cool. So okay, let's back up for a moment. Okay, first of all, I just got to say I'm super impressed, and I'm like laughing because literally Father Saul, the co-host of this podcast, and I had a very the whiteboard thing like sparked this memory that I had suppressed hardcore. Like clearly it was a bad memory, but we were at a job together that we also were really bored at, a communications firm. And on the slow days of summer, we would like play different games on the whiteboard. Sometimes we would just like brainstorm business ideas, and we would just brainstorm the dumbest business ideas. Like all I remember is this one called Swag and Go, and I don't even remember what it was. I think it was like if you went to a new city, you could like get like a cool outfit before you go out, so you don't have to pack a suitcase or something. But we would just like put all these harebrained ideas, and guess what? We never did any of them. You guys actually did it, which is really, really cool. Now, what was like the first steps that you had to take in order to actually go from this just being an idea to it actually being a real product?
Yeah. I think one of the first things we did, aside from, the research and going into stores, doing both primary and secondary research on what the pickle market looked like, we also just started doing cold outreach to people on LinkedIn and people in the industry who had a ton of experience. And we just did our best to connect with those people and kind of like tell them about our idea and be like, hey, like this is what we want to do. Are we crazy, or could this work? And we found a lot of validation from other people who are in the industry and had experience. And I think that kind of gave us the confidence to be like, okay, maybe we're onto something and we're not just crazy thinking that this could work. Mm-hmm. Because we were obsessed with the idea and we were like, we would buy that 100%. But then logistically, we were like, okay, how does this even work? Like, we don't know where to start or how to even, make pickles. Like, do we come up with the recipe ourselves? Like, how does this work? And we started brainstorming the flavors that we wanted to do and just what we wanted the brand to look like. And immediately we knew we wanted clean ingredients and we wanted the brand to be organic because we wanted to set ourselves apart from other pickle brands on the market, which a lot of them are not organic and use very harmful preservatives and dyes and whatnot. And so we knew we wanted to do something very clean, and maybe it's the LA in us that we're like thinking, yeah.
Well, it's differentiation, right? Like, because I'm assuming a lot of the pickle brands
Yeah.
out there are kind of old school,
Yeah.
right? Like they've been around for a while. So it sounds like you were kind of marrying the new with the old.
Totally. And we were super inspired by our Middle Eastern heritage and the flavors that we knew from growing up. And so we were like, okay, we need to do like your basic dill pickle, but what can we do to make it more interesting? And what can we add to it to make it feel different? And we thought of turmeric as one of the spices that we grew up consuming in a lot of dishes that we, in Middle Eastern cuisine. And we found out that a lot of brands, a lot of pickle companies actually use small amounts of turmeric to color the brine, but it's never actually for flavor. And so we were like, what if we used enough to where it added a twist to your traditional dill pickle? And so that's how original dill with a turmeric twist came about, which is one of our SKUs. And then we wanted a spicy pickle too, and we were super inspired by the whole hot honey trend that was happening. And we decided to do honey harissa pickle, which harissa is a spicy condiment. It's like a tomato and no, there's no tomato. It's like a pepper paste that's spicy that we use mainly in North African cuisine, I believe it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so those are our two flavors. We started making them at home and kind of toying around with different recipes, and it ended up tasting like cucumber salad each time. And we were like, what is happening? Why is this not pickling the way it should be? And we ended up actually connecting with a food scientist who had a ton of experience, and she kind of took off like the recipes that we kind of created and then turned them into recipes that could actually be used for food production and food manufacturing, and elevated them, and she made them exactly what our brains were trying to do for like 2 months.
We also ran a survey before like fully doing this. We ran a Gen Z survey to kind of figure out like, okay, do we want, like, what are people buying? Are they buying sliced pickles? Are they buying spears? Are they buying full pickles? What do they prefer? What kind of colors do people like? What are their favorite brands? Just kind of collecting all this data to figure out what we were going to do for like the actual product itself, but also for branding and marketing, which we went into right after, or kind of in parallel with doing our flavors. At the same time, we onboarded a design agency that was in Barcelona to do all of our branding, which is why we went viral on social media, just because people loved it so much. It's so different. But it was awesome. Like, Yasaman and I had such a great idea of what we wanted to do for branding. We knew exactly the colors. We knew that we wanted to use doodles. We knew that we wanted Good Girl Snacks to be a simple logo and Hot Girl Pickles to be kind of crazy, so that Good Girl Snacks could kind of stay as a universal, even if we go into other snacks down the line. And yeah, this is like, basically, just to give you a timeline, we started and quit our jobs in like June of 2023.
1 year ago. That's crazy.
Yeah. And by September, we had all of the branding and marketing done. Sorry, all the branding, marketing done, and the flavors done. And so like October, we were like ready to go.
And the recipe development?
Yeah. Like October, we were ready to go and like produce, but we had to find manufacturer and all this stuff. So it took a little longer, but like, yeah, we basically had everything done in a couple months, which was crazy. So
that is wild. I would have expected it to take a lot longer. That is really cool. Really shows your guys' like dedication to getting this across the finish line.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming from the point you've developed your recipe, come up with the branding, then you got to start thinking about, okay, how are we going to roll this out into the world?
Yeah.
How did you guys approach that?
Well, I think for this first run, we first wanted to get proof of concept. I think that was really important to us, and to kind of see, okay, are people even vibing with this product? Does the brand resonate with consumers? And so we knew that we wanted to first sell online and do like a sort of like a pre-launch online and have people like pre-order their product. And It ended up happening later than planned. We wanted to do this in January and kind of have it be at the start of the new year. And we ended up not being able to manufacture our pickles in December like we had planned. And we had to do it at the end of January instead. And so we launched in February, which ended up working out really nicely. Honestly, we weren't too strategic at the beginning, to be totally transparent.
Well, we were, because we did social media.
Yes.
That's how we got into the world.
I mean, in terms of the sales strategy, I think we were just kind of like, let's launch online and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And just see if people are buying it, see how people are reacting to it. We were way more strategic with like the marketing of it and the things we put out on social media. Like that was very intentional and very strategic. But in terms of actually selling the product, we didn't run any ads. It was all organic. And we were just like, okay, let's see what happens. Let's put our baby out into the world and see how it goes. And it ended up going really well. And soon enough, we had a few stores that were reaching out and that wanted to carry our product. And little by little, that's how it started growing.
So what was the social media strategy?
Yeah, so going into it, I kind of had a clear idea in my mind. I was like, yes, we're going to have to start posting every single day. We're going to have to build in public. Like, this is just what we have to do. Sorry. And like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like, we're going to figure it out. I had a background in marketing, but like, I never, filmed myself or anything like that. It was more so like influencer marketing, growth, all that stuff. So in October, literally October 1st, we started filming every single day and posting every single day with the hopes to put our company out there, but also put ourselves out there. And so that people fall in love with the story, start following us. And then by the time we have a product out, they have enough of a relationship with us as people that they actually want to support us.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, we were able to do that. And we created a huge community really quick. Like, I think when we launched, we had 12,000 followers already.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because like
that's really good. From scratch?
Yeah, we literally like paid $0 in marketing, didn't buy followers, like nothing.
Just like what types of content? And I'm asking selfishly. I built a social media account too, and it took me forever to like cross the 10K threshold.
Yeah,
because I've seen some of your posts. It seems like you really like to take people behind the scenes and give them like almost like a very, I don't know, there's like an air of like vulnerability to it. It's like, hey, here's some struggles we're dealing with, or this is the challenge of the day.
100%.
This is the exciting thing that happened today. Like, it's very much taking them along the journey. Beyond that, did you have any other sort of like ideas or things that worked?
Yeah, I think it's not only like the video and like the vlog and being authentic, it was also very much so the hook, which was, we tested a few different things before we found the one that worked, but it was like day one of quitting our jobs to start a pickle company as two best friends in our early 20s.
Brilliant.
So there's so many things there that like make you want to watch it because you're like, a pickle company? How the hell did you start a company in your early 20s? And I want to quit my job too. So they watch the video for that reason, and then they kind of get encapsulated in the story. And yeah, I think also because we started filming at such an early stage where like we were literally just starting, people were just very interested and wanted to grow with us. And also another huge thing was hashtags. Like, we kind of started posting on social media when there was a huge revolution in search engine optimization and like algorithms on social media. So we were able to kind of use that to our advantage and just obsess over what hashtags to use, how search engine optimization works. And that, I think, really pushed out our videos onto the For You page and on Reels on your Explore page and all that. So
that's brilliant.
We still post every day. We've posted every single day.
Yeah, but to your point though, like I've seen it, I get served all these like social media agency like sponsored content, and like one of their favorite hooks is like, posting every day is not a social media strategy. It's like
it is.
I mean, it's definitely like part of it. Like, consistency is definitely key. But I think what you brought up there with like keywords and SEO and stuff like that, like you kind of like have to use all the tools in the arsenal. And it sounds like you guys were very much doing that. Now, you mentioned
Absolutely.
going like viral, right? Like having a moment where you're like, holy shit, like people are actually watching this, engaging with it. What was that moment and how did it feel?
We posted a series of 3 videos back to back about our branding and like how we came up with our doodles and like the colors and all that. And we gained 10,000 followers in 5 days. And at the time I was visiting my boyfriend's family. Like it was one of the first times, and I was literally on my phone the entire time because I was like, "What's happening?" And I was answering like every comment. I was like, "Yes, I'm like literally we're blowing up. Like, what are we gonna do? We don't have a product to sell, but like all these people are following us. Like, what's going on? Is this bad timing?" But
So your ex-boyfriend now, right? No, I'm just kidding.
no, they supported me. No, but it was so crazy, and I think we both were just so overwhelmed that this was happening to us so early. And yeah, we were just so
Yeah.
grateful that people resonated with it
Yeah.
before we launched the product. It gave us a lot of security, I think.
Yeah, and we were so proud also of the brand that we were building, and we put so much thought into every detail, especially when it comes to the branding and the whole aesthetic of the brand. And we were just super happy that people were resonating with it, and people were, yeah, like, you know, kind of congratulating us for it. So that was really rewarding.
So what is happening now with Hot Girl Pickles? Like, can people buy them online? Can people find them in stores?
So we actually sold out online,
Which is great.
which
Congrats.
is
Thank you.
great. I know it's a great problem to have, but very stressful in terms of like logistics. But yeah, we sold out online, which was super exciting, and we are actually still. You can buy our product in a bunch of different stores, which you can find a store locator on our website, which is goodgirlsnacks.com. There's a Find Us tab where you can kind of look through and see where you can find us in person. We're in about 10 stores, I want to say, which is very crazy to say, and working to get into more locations. And currently, our new batch of pickles with an updated formula that we were working on they're currently pickling. The cucumbers are in their jars, they're marinating in our juice, and they're waiting to be consumed very soon. So hopefully at the end of the month or at the beginning of July, we'll replenish our inventory online. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
That's something I didn't even think about. Like, you need to give the pickles time to pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
know
that's the
that
beauty.
either going into it.
The things you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were also, I think the tail end of 2024 and early 2025 will be really big for us because that's when we're planning on, going big retail and, taking that next step. We're also working on new flavors. We have some merch coming out. So definitely fun stuff coming in the next few months.
That's really cool. I want a Hot Girl Pickle hat. I promise to rock it everywhere. Let me ask you real quick, because like we talked a little bit about it, like in terms of the TikTok trend, but I understand that the Hot Girl moniker is not a physical descriptor. It's very much a mindset. So you might not believe this, but our listeners, some of them skew a little bit older. They may not know what it means to be in a hot girl mindset. Could you what does it mean to be a hot girl? Do you need to be one in order to consume the pickle?
You definitely don't need to be one to consume the pickle. Um, But the way that we describe being a hot girl is more of a mentality, where like you're being the most confident version of yourself, you're doing the self work to be the best version of yourself, and you're kind of existing in the world as like an amazing human being. And so, hence the hot girl walk. Like, you go on a hot girl walk so that you can either feel better with your mental health or like you could look better, whatever, the goal is out of that, but it just makes you hotter by doing a hot girl walk. And so, the name is to remind people that whenever they grab a jar, like they are a hot girl, like whoever you are.
Yeah.
I always say my dad's a hot girl. So anyone can be a hot girl. But yeah, you don't need to identify as one to eat our pickles.
Yeah, I identify as a hot girl more often than not, and that's why I'm willing to wear one of the hats. That's really cool. What about other snacks? I mean, you mentioned you started it as Good Girl Snacks, presumably with the intention of one day branching out. Probably too early to have that conversation. Maybe not. I don't know. But what other snacks are you interested in exploring?
We've been thinking about this since day one. Like we hadn't even launched our pickles yet, and we were like, what's next? What are we doing next? And we have a few ideas. We have a lot of ideas actually. And I think we found one that we really resonate with and that we think could work really well. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but we are super excited about it. But we just need to find the right time.
Suspense is killing me here, but okay. Well, I understand. I understand. What about like one that's not currently in the works, but like pie in the sky, like way down the line, 10 years down the line?
I don't think we know that yet. I can give you an option that we didn't
I
choose.
like that.
So we loved the idea of doing like a labneh for a long time, just how everyone kind of went into hummus and like started doing that, and everyone in the US suddenly ate hummus. We were kind of thinking of doing something like that and doing fun flavors and kind of introducing it into, American grocery stores with new flavors and, more exciting packaging than what's available. We decided to go against that just because refrigeration and yogurts are really complicated when it comes to shelf life. But that was something that we were thinking about. I think what we'll always do is, try to awaken sleepy aisles, and make them more fun and exciting in both flavor and packaging. So whatever we do come out with next, or in 10 years, we'll always kind of be doing that, I think.
That's awesome. I mean, I think it's a really great idea. And also like the whole like concept of hot girl pickle, it's really appropriate. And the way you described it, Leah, is exactly like speaks to it. It's like being the best version of yourself. And your guys are kind of creating the best version of a pickle with the ingredients, with the branding, with like the ethos, the recipe. So it's a pretty tight concept. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's also about like celebrating the little quirks that some girls like share. And I think the whole trend on social media of, girl dinner and hot girl walks and hot girls have this, hot girls have that. I think it's also kind of like a bonding thing for women of like kind of celebrating the little weird things that we do and making them feel more exciting, even though they're part of our daily routine. Because going on a walk every day, like nothing's interesting about that. But calling it a hot girl walk, all of a sudden it makes it fascinating. And that also kind of ties back into what we're trying to do with, taking maybe boring foods and making them feel more exciting.
It's dope. Well, pickles are like an essential food too. I mean, there's so many like dishes that are just brought to the next level by the usage of a pickle. Literally was having a sandwich today at Bub and Grandma's down the street, and it was awesome. But what really made it were the pickles. Like if it didn't have that acidic element plus whatever flavor twist they were able to imbue, I think they were using some like caraway seeds or something like that. It just gave the sandwich a whole different dimension. So, but I agree with you. Pickles needed a rebrand, so thank you for stepping in. Now, you mentioned that you're both foodies, so let me ask you, what restaurants have you been checking out and enjoying recently?
I can give you my favorite restaurants, which I feel like are kind of basic, but they're right next to each other, and I could sell my soul to eat at either of those restaurants every day.
Okay.
I'm a huge found oyster girl, like huge. Love found oyster. And I also love Safi's. But specifically, the cafe that they have next door, they have the Arabic breakfast that is literally life-changing. So if you haven't checked that out yet, you absolutely should. It's delicious.
I'm so embarrassed. I've been to Found Oyster, and we actually have Queen Street, their other restaurant, right down the street. So have been there a few times. Big fan. Safi's, I've been to their other locations, obviously Bavel and Bestia, all of Ori's other restaurants. We actually, my wife and I got a gift card to Safi's, I want to say as like either a wedding present or a Christmas present. And we still...
That's a great present.
Yeah, but like people know us, right? They're like, we know what you guys are going to like. We still haven't been. We just haven't made the time to go.
My God. Open Resi right after this. Make a reservation and you have to order the lobster skewer. It is life-changing.
I'm doing
life-changing.
I'm doing it. I didn't think that wasn't basic at all. That was like a very respectable answer. Both of those are very respected restaurants in the LA scene.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, I just went yesterday actually to Broad Street Oyster for the first time, which I feel like is such a famous like establishment these days. And it lived up to the hype. I wasn't sure if it would because they have a self-proclaimed world's best lobster roll.
Yeah.
And I'm very picky with my lobster roll. My favorite lobster roll up till now is at Son of a Gun. And I thought the one at Broad Street was really good.
Wow. Better? Are you saying it's better?
Honestly, They might be. No, I don't think I can say it's better. I think Son of a Gun might still be my favorite,
Fair enough.
but it's definitely a solid contender.
Did you opt for like the $87 version with uni and caviar as well, or no?
No, unfortunately, I did not splurge on the lobster roll. But we got the burger also, like their smash burger, I think. It was really good too. The tuna tartare was really good. The ceviche was pretty good. Yeah, overall very satisfied.
They're expanding
Yeah.
like crazy. They're like,
Yeah.
they're everywhere now. Which location did you go to?
I went to the one in Malibu.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to.
Yeah, it was great.
Funny story. We first had them. My wife and I. We were up in Santa Barbara doing wine tasting,
Oh,
and they were just popping up outside the winery. And we had this like magical lobster roll. Like while we were drinking wine, we were like, "Oh my god, this is like such a transformational experience." And then they finally opened in Malibu. So yeah, and I did last year try the version with uni and caviar, and it's good. It's really good. But obviously, it's like it is a splurge,
yeah.
100% unnecessary.
I was
But
saying the same thing.
it exists, and it's nice to know that something like that exists.
I feel like there's not much food that you could add uni and caviar to and it wouldn't taste delicious. I feel like it's really hard for me
Yeah.
to think of something that wouldn't be great with uni and caviar. But
It's true. Although uni is a polarizing one. Like a lot of people are like
That's
not
true.
into that. But me, I agree with you. Put it on a hiking boot, and I think it would be a delicious dinner.
I agree.
Well, guys, this has been a pleasure of a conversation. I'm really inspired by your story. I'm literally thinking of like just calling Saul up and being like, "Yo, remember that swag and go idea we had? Let's just fucking do it, bro. Let's do it."
I'm in full support.
Thank you. If you're, we are currently looking for investors. So if you're looking, but look, thank you so much. We're rooting for you at the LA Food Podcast. We're going to be buying the pickles as soon as they're back online. We'll be buying that merch, rocking the Hot Girl Pickles hats. If our listeners are looking for you in the meantime, where can they find you?
We're at Good Girl Snacks on every social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all that. And then goodgirlsnacks.com is our website.
Super exciting. Everybody go pay them a visit. Yasaman, Leah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the LA Food Podcast. Thanks to our guests, Leah Marcus and Yasaman Bakhtiar of Good Girl Snacks for joining us and sharing their story. Thanks as always to Father Saul for making the time to speak with us. And thanks to my gardeners for deciding to pick this afternoon of all afternoons to clean up our backyard. Thank you, of course, to you, dear listener. If you like what you heard here today, dear listener, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts, leave us a rating, a review, subscribe. Seriously, all that stuff really helps us make our way up the charts on Spotify and Apple. We'll be back next week with another epic episode, but if you're looking for me in the meantime, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at the LA Countdown. That's TheLaCountdown. Don't forget to go sign up for our free Substack too. It's called LA Food Stack, and you can find it at thelacountdown.substack.com. And you can also find us at thelacountdown.com.